Hello, and welcome to the After Show Afterthoughts with the Denmark power couple. I am so sick of them, I do not know what to do. They were fabulous in LYNNIE GODFREY, Straight No Chaser. And we are here now. As we were coming on the air, they were getting telephone calls with people telling them that they didn't know. Oh, I didn't know that about you. I didn't know this about you. How wonderful it is to have both of you here with me. And and we talked, the last thing we were talking about was the footprint and what we think that we want, to leave here. I think all three of us, are concerned about where we are in the theater, what is going to what we're turning the theater over to the next generation. Do they get what we want, to happen? What do you think about the future of the theater? As Julius asked, but I'm now talking about where it's going as far as that's concerned. Now somebody's coming in, but I'm not going to let them come in now because they'll be on the screen. So
So people can't come in on this. This is just
no,
us.
this is just you.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So I'm not gonna let them come in.
I'm gonna stop these right now.
Okay. Oh,
Because she invited people.
did you? Oh my goodness. Okay, no, because if they come in, well, I mean, look, I'm gonna be very frank. If you want them to come in, we can. It'll be something different. It'll be
No,
something.
I'm gonna tell them don't come in.
You sure?
Yeah.
Because they can have they can ask you questions and do everything else they want to at this important time. It's up.
No, that's all right. We'll deal with you.
Okay. The board was I mean I couldn't even read the people on the board. So you all have a very strong following. And what is it that we touched on a little bit, Leon? You touched on specifically where you think the commercial part of the theater is going, but not so much that the thought process of the people that we turn the theater over to, because now I believe I am of that generation when I first got into business, that generation where I looked up to those people who had been in the theater for a long time and
Right.
they knew what was going on, and they were passing on the torch. So we're passing on the torch. Do we have young people we can pass that torch on to and think that they're going to execute it in a way that does us justice? It may not be our exact way, and it shouldn't be because we are who we are, but passing that torch is a very scary thing. Are some of our ideas going to live on? Are we going to have them sustained? What do you think?
Well, I think the certain things that have definitely already. The answer is yes. There are people who are doing it, can do it, will do it, and you can pass on the torch, or you can not pass on the torch. They just take it from you. So,
Isn't that so? Yes, yes.
which is when you get young people wanting to take it from you, you should take that as a compliment. It means that you've done something that's laid enough of a foundation that these people, young people, feel confident and comfortable that they can do it.
Yes, yes.
They can do it. And even if they don't know the history is in them, and it's given them that confidence and that comfort that allows them to go on and do it. Now, they may all be focused on making the most money that they can make at it, but that's okay. I mean, perhaps out of that will come a new tradition, maybe a new tradition, because the old tradition of American theater is a combination of vaudeville, which is commercial, and classical, which is not for profit. And it did come to my attention as I got into theater more, and I had to read about it and for different reasons, but to get the history of it, American theater, that in my opinion, the basis of the American mainstream culture, as opposed when it comes to theater, is the not-for-profit theater.
Yeah.
But the not-for-profit theater requires a certain tradition, and it's tradition of philanthropy, and it's a certain kind of philanthropy.
Mm-hmm.
That is, you have to be willing to give your money to a group of crazy people called theater people, many of whom, as they take your money, they let you know that they resent you for having the money in the first place. And by the way, I'm going to create a piece of art that exposes your hypocrisy.
Exactly.
Okay.
So you're paying people to insult you.
Yes.
Money.
Right. But that's a Western cultural tradition that comes from Europe, where the kings and queens paid artists to insult them. Well, they didn't. Their intention wasn't to be insulted. They were paying the artists to glorify them.
Yeah.
But the artists, being who they are, they would sneak in as many insults as they could.
The court jesters.
Yeah. Well, there's the jesters, and then all the way up to Shakespeare, who was being patronized by Queen Elizabeth. But if you read his stuff, he wasn't applauding the royalty all the time.
He didn't placate them, not at all.
No, he often did.
Well, most of his stories were stories of really of the royals and all the difficulties they had in all their relationships, and the wars and the murders and the all of that. But he was being supported by those very same people that he was writing about.
Right.
I remember being very young and seeing on television Day of Absence from any city, and knowing that at that point in time, it wasn't a great thing to be called an actor. I mean, actors were not, they were not regaled. There was no superstardom. There were no 6, 7 figures. There was nothing. When you saw a person of color doing something in the arts, you knew that they were dedicated to that. That's really what they wanted. They didn't get into it to make money because there wasn't any money to be made.
Right. My mother used to say that white girl don't go get a job where she get paid. She always want to work somewhere and not getting paid, and she don't get dressed.
This is what was one of the most unglorified things, and when I realized that it was one of the things that I wanted to do, to the dissatisfaction of my father, who thought, you have a future in oil, young lady. Exxon is, giving you a job all through college, and now you want to be an actor. Are you serious? But I could see at that point, the blessing was that I could see that there was potential, because by the time I got out of school, there were 5 shows on Broadway that reflected who I was. I could see myself there.
Yeah.
I don't know if I had been born earlier, because I went to school to be a teacher, and that's what I wanted to be.
Right.
And that was a secure thing. And I would probably, had I fallen into the oil industry, I would have probably stayed in it. Had I not seen that, had the timing in theater is everything.
Yeah.
Well, that gives us an insight into the dedication of someone like Ruby Dee.
Yeah.
Because Ruby Dee was in Raisin in the Sun in 1958. Well, that's the first Black play on Broadway since Anna Lucasta in the 1940s. So Ruby had to persevere with not coming out of a school and seeing 5 shows on Broadway.
Exactly.
She was the show on Broadway.
And there was no promise that there would be another Broadway anything. You know? So I look to the young people now, and I know that there is now the diversity where they may not see an all Black production of any kind.
Right.
But they see the diversity that there is and the potential of that. And that gives them, far more hope than the Ruby Dees had.
Oh yeah, and not to mention Dorothy Dandridge. You can see why she would be driven to suicide
Yeah.
and from the frustration.
The frustration of knowing that someone like you, with the same kind of talent, but they didn't look like you, had
Right,
opportunities when that were not going to be afforded to you.
right,
Was it was mind-boggling that you had to live through that, knowing
right,
that was the standard that was acceptable, and there was no
right,
changing of it. There was no changing of it.
right.
You know, we still have ways to go, and we still, I think, the generation that we come from, before us and a little after us, we still have a lot to say. We're
Yeah,
not done. You know, we're not done. We might be a little
no,
quiet and dormant right now, and I believe that we must let younger people say what they want to say and get their footstep. But don't think that you're gonna step on my throat, because I'm not gonna be quiet. I'm just gonna let you get. I'm gonna let you get in there for a little while, and then when I get tired of you, I'm gonna let you know what I think.
right,
So, you know, but it is their time, and I respect that, and I'm hoping in their time that they see some of the things that were accomplished, and then really take that to a point where they use that as an example to further it, to grow in that, um, and respect the accomplishments. It's just hard, you know. I really, I'm not going to keep you all long. You all have both have been wonderful. Brenda, sister,
Yes. Yes, my sister.
yes,
Yes, my
I
sister.
thank you. I thank you so much for your loyalty and your friendship all these years of reminding me all the
Listen,
time.
we go back to Dr. Patrick.
I know we had the same. Did you tell your husband that
Yeah,
we had the
I told
same
you we had the same pediatrician.
Oh,
on Strivers
that's
Road? We
funny.
had the same pediatrician. I used
That
to go
is
every Thursday and get a
that
needle.
is
Every
weird.
Thursday get a needle so I could eat, because I didn't like to eat. So he would give
Hey,
me.
listen, by the way, when I had my first date with Brenda, and I came to her house, this house actually, but I came to the house, and in the parlor was the piano, and she played the piano for me.
Did you? You know,
Yeah.
now this is something. No, Brenda, I have known you all these years. You have never ever mentioned to me that you played piano.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah,
Never. So
and also,
now if there's something that comes up where someone has to play, not necessarily play on stage, but play like they can play, don't even think that you're gonna get out of it. Not even gonna happen.
and listen, also, Brenda's had a recital at the Wild Recital Hall.
Really?
Yeah, it's the recital hall. Actually, not at Wild, because Wild is in Carnegie Hall. It's the recital hall right across the street from
Oh,
Carnegie
you're
Hall.
talking about? Oh, I know. We used to sing there too. Because I used to study.
Is it Cammie's
Cami Hall?
Cammie Hall? Yeah, yeah, Brenda,
CAMI, Cami
because she
Hall.
studied with Dr. Boatner, who was a coach,
Yes,
Oh.
I know
voice
Dr.
coach.
Bodner. Exactly.
Yeah, she studied with him, and
I didn't continue.
she had a recital there. And early on in her career, she would go for not musicals, but parts that required some singing. I remember when her audition piece was Bluesette.
Oh yeah, that's what I was.
Oh, really?
She had a nice, beautiful rendition of. She did a nice, beautiful rendition of Bluesette.
When I come back, I'm gonna be a jazz singer.
I see. You know, I've been to many a place where Brenda was sitting around there just enjoying everybody else on the stage, not realizing that, she had a whole inner knowledge of all of this. This is another exposure. I'm sure you'll get the emails. Well, Linda, but Brenda, I didn't know at all that you had that capacity between the two of you.
But
a lot that was discovered tonight.
We have been friends for a long time, and I tell Leon often, I say, I remember when Lenny used to call me, and you were in Virginia, and you would talk to me about, Brenda, I'm going to start a theater group. I want you to be a part of it. I don't know when it's going to be, but I want you to be a part of that. I said, okay, Lenny. Yeah. I'm with you.
Yeah. I mean, and all I did was I did a phone call now, but I'm gonna say this because I have to say it on air, and I have to give it to Julius again. I said, here I am thinking about the Charles White play, Unentitled, and I'm like, oh, Julius, okay, this is a good play. I said, no, I said, now, but I got to get somebody fierce to be the mother. I said, because this is a very important part. She's not in it a lot, but she's. And Julia said, Brenda. I said, Brenda, yes, Brenda.
Oh my goodness, I love that play. You know that I love that play.
Well, we love that play the way we did that play.
The way we know it, yes.
Now we wish them all great success with what it has evolved.
Yes,
Yes. But we've had an interpretation of the play that was very enjoyable. So
yes.
Well, the two of you, please, I wish you great future, great success in all of your endeavors and all.
Thank you.
And all the trips that you take. So I couldn't get you on my radio show first. But thank you all. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all so much for, making it an exciting hour. I really can't, I can't thank you enough. I can't thank you enough. And it is.
Well, thank you for having
what
us.
Friends are for. It really is what friends are for. And,
yeah.
And it is it is my intent to have people know how wonderful both of you are. And,
oh, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Well,
Mm-hmm.
It's just the truth. It's just the truth.
Yeah.
Is Carl there with you?
Carl is in another part of the house. He doesn't do the radio. He was on last week.
Oh, okay.
He was on last week in the Men of Boys High. He is the
oh, that's right. You did do Men of Boys
organization
High.
that is giving back to Bed-Stuy. But when I do this, he goes, "What is tonight?" I said, "It's the radio program." Okay, see you later.
Give him my love.
Yeah, tell him to say hello.
All right, I will. And I thank you, everyone, for tuning in to us for the After Show Afterthoughts and my lovely friends, Brenda and Leon Denmark. And here I am, LYNNIE Godfrey, and we'll see you at another time. Thank you now. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.